Great to get this opportunity to get in front of you. It's been quite a while. Whoever thought that we'd be still doing these Zoom meetings, Zoom calls in January, 10 months later, but here we are. So as you know, we're currently doing indoor track and cross country at the same time. It's a little weird. Never done that before. Obviously cross country is a fall sport and indoor track is winter, but be that what it may, Big Ten coaches voted to run our cross country championships at the end of January. And so here we are ready to go on Saturday for the Big Ten championships. You know, we all heard the news coming out of Michigan about them canceling their sports for the next 2 weeks. And my heart goes out to those athletes. They're kids just like ours. We could all be in that same position. And they've worked just as hard as our student athletes. And, you know, I feel for those kids right now. In my opinion, Big Ten championships without Michigan men and women as a diluted championships. And but we're going to run on Saturday, and we're going to give it our all. I mean, I've said since the beginning that you know, these championships are going to come down to you know, a meet of attrition. Who gets a full squad to the line? And if you do, then you've got a shot. If you don't, obviously diluted squad for any team is going to have repercussions on team score. So right now, fingers crossed, we're trying to do the best we can to keep our student athletes safe and get them on the bus on Thursday. We're no different than any other school out there right now, just trying to keep the kids safe. And the same on both squads, men's and women's.
Alec, question?
Hi, Mick.
Hi, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. You said that running cross country and indoor track at the same time is really weird. Maybe that's self-explanatory, but what does make this so weird? And how are you guys kind of adapting with both seasons?
Yeah, great question. I mean, we did on the men's side and the women's side have an opportunity during the fall to compete in 2 outside competitions as unattached athletes, and our both men and women did a great job up at Parkside and then at Terre Haute. You know, for distance runners running indoors and having to balance that, the number of meets that our kids are going to have to compete in, when you take the volume of work that distance athletes do, starting in the fall normally, and then through indoor track and then into outdoor track. So it's more like taking a snapshot of what the season's going to look at and trying to plug them into, you know, when best they can also run indoor track. We were at Iowa this past weekend, and it, you know, with the entire team, and it was very weird not having our men or women distance runners. And kind of dilutes the entire squad. And those kids don't get an opportunity to, you know, the track kids don't get an opportunity to see their cross country teammates. The cross country kids don't get an opportunity to see the track kids. And so it's just strange, weird, and balancing. It's a balancing act trying to do both sports at the same time, but we'll manage.
Todd, you had a question?
Hey, Mick, I know that, you know, cross country runs in anything, but this is not a typical fall kind of weather you guys are running in. How has that changed how you train, given you've got, you know, piles of snow that you normally wouldn't have in a cross country season? And how does that affect a meet day, I guess?
Yeah, I guess how it affects a meet day, I guess we're going to find out this weekend. I certainly wasn't in favor of going this early or late in January, but early, considering a lot of the other Power 5 schools and mid-major conferences are going later in February and into the first week in March. But, you know, in saying that, this is what the conference coaches voted on, so we're going to go. In terms of training for it, obviously we can't get on grass. You know, the Zimmer cross-country course is covered in snow, as are most of our regular training sites. But and and obviously we've had some snow around here. So, you know, most of what we do is outside on the roads or the bike paths. The city of Madison does an incredible job of clearing the bike paths. So we've been able to do some good work out there, out on the paths. But yeah, we're definitely going to have some snow. Right now, the forecasts for Indianapolis or just south of it in Shelbyville for the weekend is snow. So we'll see what it brings. I think once we get there and you put your spikes on, I don't think the kids, they don't. We've often competed in snow. If you go back to 2018 national meet here on the Zimmer course, it snowed then. But on race day, it's not a huge issue, but the training for the meet is challenging.
Questions? Further questions? Oh, Steve.
I got one more. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we'll have Steve and then Alec, and then we'll wrap this up.
You would say, I guess it was 2018 national championships, but how often have y'all competed in a meet this big in these kind of conditions? How rare or how common has it been in the past?
Well, this is my 13th Big Ten meet. I think the last time we had any snow might have been when we hosted the meet back in, I believe it was 2010, but it was just flurries. So we don't get to compete in it a lot. At the same time, it's the same for every competitor out there. No one has an advantage or a disadvantage. So I wouldn't say it's something we deal with a lot. We do deal with the cold weather quite often. We've been at some meets where it's been brutal cold, and we deal with that. So, but the actual snow, see what Mother Nature throws at us this weekend. But once the gun goes off, the kids, they're going to be fine.
And Alec, with our last question.
Mick, who should we keep an eye out for this weekend for you guys?
Well, in the absence of Michigan, we were really looking forward to competing against Michigan. We beat them last year in the Big Ten, and they got us at the national championship and had a great performance at the national meet. And we were looking forward to a rematch with them. Certainly Indiana, Michigan State, maybe even Purdue. It's anybody's race now. It's going to be an exciting championship.